So this is fairly depressing. Americans are struggling to afford even fast food. Let's check this out and comment later.
Consumers are getting a little salty about those fast food meals.
Since when is drive-through like a minimum of $30 for two people to eat?
New inflation data
Damn, that's pretty expensive.
this week confirms that prices at fast food restaurants are on the rise. And consumers, well, they've taken note.
It's getting out of hand out here, bro. I'm gonna have to just start eating ramen noodles like college again.
So why the price increases? In addition to pricier ingredients, labor costs have also been on the rise.
The prices are increasing at a rate that we haven't seen really in modern restaurants.
You know what's also increasing? The profit margins. I'm sick and tired of all of this bullshit narrative of everything is going up. Yeah, you know why everything is it's going up? Because prices are going up beyond what they should. It's not the first time. It's not about food alone. And it's been going for years, actually. You have companies that are pushing the prices of everything. It's not just food. It's also energy, gas. And they're getting record profit at the same time that they're crying about how everything is up for them as well. So the food prices are going up because of the basic products they buy, because of the cost of making it. Sure, but you cannot argue that it's only because of that, while at the same time you're having record profit margins. Profit margins is what's left after you paid for whatever it is you had to pay for when delivering that product. So they're taking advantage from inflation. Yes, I'm sure that the prices of the produces and tomatoes and lettuce and meat, I'm sure it's all going up. But it's also going up beyond, because you cannot explain how they also manage to have record profits at the same time, okay?
Industry is.
So much so that McDonald's has said it's noticing lower income consumers turning away from Big Macs and opting to cook at home. With food prices at fast food restaurants 5% higher than this time last year, consumers are turning to groceries, where prices have risen at a slower 1.2%. In Orlando, Brooke Benson used to be a super fan of Panera Bread. For 12 years, she used to go 3 to 4 times a week. An outpost near her house showed prices at almost $9 for a bowl for the same soup that cost her about $7 3 years ago.
If I'm going to spend that $8, $9, I'd rather get like a sandwich or something that for my family, and versus just me getting a bowl of soup.
Panera did not respond to requests for comment. Fast food companies operating on a franchise model insist that prices are up to their franchisees to set, which explains why prices may vary by location.
The franchisor looks at this consumer backlash and is concerned about what this means for.
That's the other thing. It changed by location. Yes, you know why? Because it depends on the purchasing power of said location. Where they can push a little bit more, yeah, they will charge you more. And sometimes it's not even directly linked at the income level of. Sometimes it's surprising, but sometimes it's more expensive in the shittier neighborhood because people are more likely to go for fast food. It's often the case that in the nicer place, no, I'm not buying that shit. I'd rather spend a little bit more and buy something healthy. Or, I mean, in general, if you're looking at a higher income level, you don't even eat that crap. It's going to be very rarely the case. So they have to be stores that are a lot nicer, and it has to be a much better looking place and more appealing. And it's usually going to be, because the kids like the little toy or some crap like that. While at the same time, if you already have a customer base built up in a neighborhood that is maybe not even as well off as the other one next to it, you can charge more. Especially on certain items, there's an entire science. They basically charge whatever they figure out they can get away with. And if it's in another area that the price will not float for that kind of demographic, they will not charge it. It's always been this way, but now it's been perfected thanks to artificial intelligence, hiring of psychologists. It's incredible the amount of work that goes into every aspect of this. But yes, you're not paying the same in all places.
Their customer base and revenues, and I can tell you, restaurant sales in the back half of last year definitely slowed down for sure.
But consumer backlash may push companies to back off of attempts to pass on costs to consumers, following the social media uproar sparked by Wendy's plans for dynamic pricing.
and $40 more at 3 a.m. We know you want it.
Wendy's later clarifying it would
Exactly.
not use surge pricing like rideshare apps, which increase prices during high demand times.
Exactly. 4 a.m. Who the hell goes buy a burger at 4 a.m.? Well, someone that really, really wants it. So you can charge a little bit more. That guy is going to show up. What's going to go back home? No. You charge a bit more. That's okay.
Companies like Chili's are trying to advertise meal deals for under $11, taking direct aim at competitors as consumers look for savings.
So, Brian, I mean, when it comes to these price hikes,
it basically comes down to this. It comes down to inflation. It's on everything, but it is affecting also one of the staples of the lower income average American class, which was, let's just go grab a bite, fast food, and that's it. Now, yes, of course, it's cheaper to cook your own. It's healthier as well. Why is it that people from certain demographics will usually go for fast food? Even, it used to be that it was more affordable, because it's not the case that you can buy grass-fed meat at pretty much the same price. Yes, you can probably cook a burger that's healthier, cheaper when doing it on your own. But it's a matter of the convenience aspect of it. It's about the cultural aspect of it. Oh, this is what I've always done. I've always done this, and I don't even know how to change anymore. The idea of having, in my case, I cannot project my own life and my own family to everyone else. My wife, she basically dedicating, stay-at-home mom, doing everything that the more traditional role would imply, but that's not the case for a lot of people. For most people, it's no one is home, no one knows how to cook, no one has the time to learn how to cook or to actually do it, and you just grab whatever and get by with that. You also maybe have a family that's already used to it and doesn't even like homemade food because it's not tasty enough, it's not salty enough, it's not full of the things you're already used to. So it's difficult. This happens to us all the time. You go to a restaurant and it's a little bit too salty, a little bit too much things that you're not used to eating because you have everything homemade. So it just goes to show how things keep on changing, and by the end of it, you realize that it's all the same. It's all inflation, it's all transfer of wealth, it's all increasing poverty at the expense of the population, of most of the people in this planet. It's happening all over. It's not only in the United States, it's everywhere. And it's only accelerating. We're just being gaslit into, it's just 1% here, 5% there. Fuck that, it's 15, 20%. Once you realize how they cook the numbers and how they lie, you cannot argue with how much crap you put in that shopping cart for the same amount of money. It is not 5%. It is not 10%. It's a lot more. How much more? Well, it's going to be depending on your budget. It's going to be depending on your buying habits. It's going to be depending on exactly where you live, the kind of food that you buy. The inflation has probably hit some of the lower income a lot more than the more medium or higher medium class. In which case, many of the things that they already were buying were already expensive, so they haven't gone up all that much. But man, you're basically experiencing this. You're experiencing the slow motion process that we saw in Argentina with rampant inflation and prices through the roof and a huge drop of standards of living and poverty skyrocketing. It's all happening in a much more slow motion way. But the outcome is still the same. You still see more poverty all around you. You still see a degradation of the standards of living. It's amazing, but that's what's happening all over. They figured out that they can get away with it. And, you may say that's because of that, the frog is slowly boiling so he doesn't realize. Maybe there's something about that. But man, the world in which we live out now is not the same that it was 5, 10, definitely not 20 years ago. and it's only getting worse. So keep an eye on things, make smart decisions, and of course, buying fast food, maybe you shouldn't even be buying it. But it's, even if you don't do it, it's just a sign of the times in which we're living, and it's quite concerning. Guys, see you next time. Take care.